Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives.
Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson, and this is our Daily Gratitude Call. Just want to thank everyone for taking the time to be on our call live this morning, and also those of you who are listening to the podcast as an after fact. I'm grateful for all of you joining the call as well. It's always super fun for me to get a call, to have a call scheduled on my AskWileen.com for a 15-minute call from a stranger, somebody that I hadn't known before. And I feel like we're not strangers because they've been on the call, but I just haven't been aware that they're listening on the podcast, and they're participating in gratitude every day along with us. And so they definitely are a friend. And we were just talking a little bit before I started the recording, and just saying how those who we know that are on the call, we know that all these people that are on the call are in the same frame of mind. You know, we're all Christians. We all have similar values and want to start the day with gratitude. And just, I feel like all of us on the live call especially, but even those who are participating on the podcast, that I feel like I could just call on any single one of you, and if I needed a place to stay, if I needed, some help with anything, that all of you would come to my rescue. And I just really appreciate that. It's really awesome to be a part of a community where yesterday we focused on gratitude for a trusted network of support, and definitely this gratitude call is a trusted network of support. So I'm super grateful for everybody that is on the call. Our Facebook group, the Breakthrough with Gratitude Facebook group, is kind of an extension of the call. And so if you're not able to get on live and you're here as a podcast, I do encourage you to jump on our Facebook group and become a member there so that we can, be that trusted network of support for you. Today, as we were just sharing before I started the recording, there were a lot of really awesome things that were shared about gifts that people have and how we serve each other. And I realized that there are counterfeit and authentic ways that we serve each other. Every single one of us has certain gifts. We're uniquely talented in our own way, and we have certain gifts and like a genius that we have inside of us that's part of this divine intelligence that we came to Earth with. And it's how we serve others. It helps us serve us, and it also is how we serve others. And a lot of times if we're just starting out and we don't really understand how to use that gift in a way that's really, truly authentic, a lot of times that gift can deplete us, and it can feel like a curse. I refer to, people who are maybe empathic or who call themselves healers, where they have gifts and talents, that help people to heal from physical ailments or emotionally or spiritually or whatever. Even, the work that I do at times, if I am not using it in an authentic way that empowers me and the other people around me, then it could deplete me. And I've experienced that from time to time, and I've learned how to use it in an authentic way so that it continually fulfills me, continually fills me. I've heard people talk about setting up a shield. It's like, I'll put up a shield so that, nobody can get in. So it's like a boundary or something like that, so that I can protect myself. But I feel like that's really a counterfeit way of using our gifts. I think about Christ when he was on the earth, and he was so free every once in a while he would withdraw and go to the mountain to connect with his Father, to revive himself or to rejuvenate himself or whatever. And he definitely would take those times, and I feel like our gratitude call every morning and the daily GPS is my time to do that. And so I encourage you to continue doing that on a daily basis. Create routines that help to revive and rejuvenate you. And all you have to do is just reconnect with your Father, because that is the source, and reconnect with Christ, because that is the source of all light, energy, everything good. And so we can just like plug in and get recharged, just like we plug in our phone at night. So kind of back to this idea of counterfeit and authentic. In my book, The 7 Gateways, Your Map to Integrity in Life and Business, I talk about, as one of the very first principles that you learn is about the difference between living a counterfeit life or living a life that is truth, that's filled with truth. And if we are on the counterfeit side, that's where we, these unique gifts, kind of bringing this full circle, these unique gifts and talents that we have, this genius that we have inside, Christ never was depleted. You never read in the scriptures where he was like tired or said, send people away, I'm tired, I want to, I need to get revived. He just had a consistent routine, and he was always fulfilled. And I also believe that as he was healing people, that, it talks about how he felt virtue leave him, but when he would interact with people, like if somebody asked him a question or if he healed someone, he would ask them first, do you have the faith to be healed? And so he gave them the responsibility before he ever gave his gift, before he offered his gift. And I feel like a lot of times we try to force our gift on people because we think, if they could just do this, or if they should feel this, I know I can help them, I know I can serve them, whatever. And I've been there before. That's when we get depleted. Is when we're trying to do it all, when we're not expecting the other person to show up in a certain way. And using our gifts in an authentic way is showing up in our power and also expecting other people to show up in their power as well. And using our gifts in a counterfeit way would be that we are taking on the responsibility of ourselves and thinking that we have to do it all. And that definitely will deplete us if we're feeling that way. So today, for our 90-second meditation, I want to focus on gratitude for recognizing counterfeits. And I've just explained one way that I've noticed that I can live in counterfeit, but there are a lot of different ways that we might recognize counterfeits. So I'm going to be starting the timer in just a moment for 90 seconds. And during this 90 seconds, I'm just going to invite you to be open to receive whatever inspiration you get on gratitude for recognizing counterfeits. It might be something completely different than what I've shared. So 90 seconds, silent meditation, just writing down what comes to you on gratitude for recognizing counterfeits. Begin. Um, Interesting. I thought about like a $20 bill, that there are counterfeits that somehow get into circulation, and so they've had to actually change the way that our money looks. The $20 bill, $50 bill, $100 bill, or whatever, they have these colorful emblems and things all over the. They keep changing things so that it's like, okay, now this is what the real one looks like. Now this is what the real one looks like. We have to keep changing it because there are counterfeits out there. And I thought that's interesting because the counterfeit is the truth, the true version. When I think of like God's truth, never changes. And I thought, well, that's interesting because in a $20 bill, the real one keeps changing. And then I realized that the $20 bill, the money, the paper, is not where the value lies. The value originally was in gold and silver and precious metals, which don't change. The value might change, due to inflation or whatever, but or scarcity of the metal or whatever. But the real truth is the value that people place on it. It's the I don't know really how to describe what I'm thinking, but there's the thing that doesn't change is that we all agree that money has value and it is a means of exchange. So the value that we place on goods and services is the truth. I guess that's the authentic, is the value that we place on the goods and service. And however whether we work in trade or whether we work in, paper money or precious metals or whatever, that's irrelevant. It's the value that we place on the goods and service that is the truth. Who else would like to share?
I think that when you said counterfeits, all of a sudden fear came up for me and worry that that we might not always see. I think we see intent and the ability to follow through with recognizing counterfeit and authentic. I think that there is a real intent sometimes that people have, but then there's not the ability to do what they have promised or what they think they can do. And sometimes that leaves them feeling a shortness. And I think there's honesty and, there's no worry and no fear, but at the same time, you are led to the person that can fulfill on their commitment. And the capacity of recognizing intent and abilities to follow through are the same. That can be, totally counterfeit with real intent, with real desire to do the thing, but then just no capacity. And I recognized my abilities, and that I was led right into my Libany beliefs and new beliefs. So,
awesome, thank you. I hear kind of what you're saying, that a lot of times I'm going to just use myself as an example. Sometimes I have an intent to follow through with something, so I'll make a commitment in the beginning, and in the moment it feels like a truth, but really, in my heart of hearts, if I really look inside, I know that I'm not going to be able to. And sometimes things do just come up, that don't make it possible, but to fulfill. But I can even be in counterfeit myself if I don't have the ability or really don't have the intention of following through. That maybe if I just make a commitment in the beginning to just because I think it would be a good thing, or I don't know why I would do that, but that being in integrity of not just making the commitment at the beginning and having the intent, but also to following through. That's definitely something that we can all see and within ourselves if we're living in truth in that way. But then also, like you were mentioning, having the ability to recognize someone who is willing to actually follow through, not just having the intent. That's a a good skill to have as well.
Well, I was thinking about that earlier in the gratitude round, capacity, the routines flow. Now I have the capacity to do the things that I struggled with before, and so that just and when you were speaking, well, I wrote that sometimes opportunities present themselves in which are really counterfeit to what we're up to. Not that we can't break that and serve or do something, but it's like a distraction, like spending time with someone or doing something. That's also counterfeit to keeping us from living our truth. So things that come into our lives, they may be valuable, but maybe not necessarily in our life at that time. So there's so many things that present themselves like opportunities or of every kind, and I was just seeing how those are counterfeit to my life, because you're only one person, and there's all these people, all these opportunities to serve, all these opportunities for business, all these opportunities everywhere, but you can't do them all. So sometimes they're all, some are counterfeit to what you're up to, or what your best and highest self is, or your true purpose right now.
Oh, awesome. I think you have just encompassed everything, Mary. I really appreciate everything that you've shared, and you're right. You're absolutely right that some people place value, just like I mentioned at the very beginning, that the truth is that people place value on different things. And sometimes we do place counterfeit value, don't we? Like any kind of an experience or an opportunity that presents itself that does distract us or pull us away from our purpose, from our, living our life in the highest we can live, living our authentic gifts and talents, anything that pulls us away from that. It might be a super valuable, maybe a huge opportunity that other people would be like, oh my gosh, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. How can you say no? Well, I can say no because it's counterfeit to my truth. It's counterfeit to who I am, and it might be super awesome for other people, but it's not mine. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I would love to hear more, but I know we're getting close to the end of our time, so I think this is a really great time for us to switch over to our permission process. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate you sharing all of that, and everyone that has shared. So everybody just go ahead and take a deep breath. And as you breathe in, I'm just going to invite us to be really open to know what is truth for us. Like what is the most important thing for us to be spending our individual time, talents, money, energy, all the resources that we have. What is the best place for us to be giving that? What is our truth? And setting aside any counterfeits that have maybe tried to draw our attention, that have drained us, our energy in the past, just putting our attention only on those things that empower us, that fill us up, that make us the most happy, fulfilled, feeling the most authentic, like we're acting in the most authentic way possible to our highest and truest, purest self. And what is the number one limiting belief that is coming up for you about living a completely true life, devoid of counterfeits, just living in this space of always being your best, taking those opportunities that present themselves that allow you to live fully in your gifts and your talents, your highest and best self? What is the limiting belief that would pull you away from living that way all the time? And as you look at that limiting belief, I invite you to examine the cost. What's the cost or the consequence of keeping that limiting belief. And as you examine that cost, I invite you to make a choice right now. You can keep that limiting belief, and you know now what that's going to bring you, or you can give yourself permission to choose into a new belief. That's something that will bring you a different outcome. So I invite you right now, if you are ready to let go of that limiting belief and give yourself permission to choose something different, just say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Right, and then go ahead and choose at least one and maybe up to 3 new beliefs that will totally empower you to choose something different, to choose a different path, take the place of that old limiting belief, and create a new outcome. And I invite you to take a moment right now and really bring those new beliefs into your heart. Just allow those new beliefs, the words, to sink in. And rather than just having a bunch of affirmations that you read off every day that have no meaning, I invite you to see the truth of these words, bring these words in, and integrate them into your very body, your cells. Become these new beliefs. Allow these beliefs to integrate and become part of you. Just take a moment and see the truth, see the counterfeit of the limiting belief, and see the truth and the authenticity of the new belief. Use your gifts of discernment to be able to see the difference in the two, and maybe even add a new belief about how you are able to see the difference, if that resonates with you. And now that you have identified this limiting belief and changed it to a new belief, integrated it into your body and your soul, I invite you right now to be open to know what is the next step, what is the most important next step that you can take today to prove, to give more evidence to the truth of these new beliefs. What is your inspired shortcut that would allow you to be this pure, authentic version of you with no distraction, with ability to let go of any opportunity, purge anything from your life that doesn't line up with the authentic version of yourself? What is the one inspired shortcut that you can take today that will set you on the path of pure authenticity? All right, and as we are at the end of our time, we won't have time to share, but I do invite all of you to go to the Breakthrough with Gratitude page and share your thoughts there. If you're not yet a member, I invite you to go join our Facebook group, Great Breakthrough with Gratitude. And also, as always, if you are feeling like you need a little bit of extra support in this area that has been discussed today, to go to askwylene.com and to schedule a 15-minute call with me. I know that 15 minutes will be super powerful, and that we'll be able to find the one most important little cog that we need to shift in a new direction for you to be able to move forward and being your most authentic self. Thank you all for joining our call today, and we'll look forward to tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, right here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening, and I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.